Aloha everybody, it's Annalisa Burgos here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Wanted to give you a quick update. Hope you're having a good July 4th weekend. A lot of people, of course, traveling to Hawaii. I guess they have this pent up interest in getting out of whatever city they're from. So we are seeing tons of tourists. So heads up, if you're looking for some peace and quiet and relaxation, getting connected with nature, you might not find it here on Oahu. Maui also very, very crowded. The problem is that everyone has that same idea that they wanted to get away from whatever city they're from. So they're flocking to here and going to the same sites. They're basically, going to social media. They're looking at, where people are eating and hiking. And so all of those spots are super crowded. So just be aware, you're not going to be the only person there and enjoying some beautiful scenery. Wait times are really long. If you didn't reserve for activities or restaurants ahead of time, you likely won't be able to get in. Just be prepared. I know people are just happy to maybe to go to Costco or Walmart and go to the beach and eat. So if that's your thing, then you'll be fine. But be aware, traffic is pretty bad. There's no rental cars unless you want to pay, hundreds of dollars a day. People are complaining about their Airbnb experiences or maybe their Turo experiences, That's at your own risk. You come to Hawaii with restrictions. This is what you have to be prepared for. Also, starting this Thursday, anyone fully vaccinated against COVID-19 who got their vaccine in the United States can be exempt from the 10-day quarantine, which we still have. So Hawaii requires everyone coming in to get to be on a 10-day quarantine unless you get a COVID-19 test and show those negative results. You have to take the test 72 hours prior to your arrival. So for sure you have to do that, show negative results, or you can now, starting the 8th, upload your CDC vaccination card to this website, Safe Travels. It's travel.hawaii.gov, and apply for an exemption. And you have to note, though, that you can't just get the shot and then travel the next day. You have to do 15 days after the last shot of your regimen. So for example, if you get the J&J, it's only one shot. So you can get it that on one day, count 15 days, and that's when you can travel to Hawaii. That's when you can arrive to Hawaii. That's when the 2-week immunity kicks in. So be aware of that, because I'm seeing online people asking like, oh, we're going to be traveling and we got the shot a few days ago. No, you are going to be put in quarantine. You're going to be upset. And then you're going to write into the newsroom where I work and say, oh, we were not aware. And, we were sent back or we were forced to quarantine. I mean, those excuses or those, stories are old. It's been several months since Hawaii instituted these restrictions. So these should not come as a shock anymore. So just be aware, you have to do that 15-day waiting period. If you don't, have that 15-day waiting period and your flight is within, like 10 days or something, you can either reschedule it or you take the test, which isn't bad. It's been done so often now. People just go in 72 hours, CVS, Walgreens, Costco, there's all these major main companies that offer the test, and as long as you get the results back and upload it to the website before you arrive, you should be good. And I've done it a few times, so I know it's not that bad. But again, this is kind of the hoops you have to go through to get to Hawaii. And to be honest, it is a privilege. You're traveling during a pandemic. Maybe you wanted to save a lot of money. You can't go travel internationally anymore. And, so you come to the next best thing, right? Paradise in the States. And just be respectful. I know there's been a lot of backlash on social media against tourists because we're seeing some of this kind of irresponsible, disrespectful behavior. I understand that people on the mainland have a very different experience with COVID compared to us here in Hawaii. So just be aware. I know America is not a very communal, greater good culture. We are very individualistic. We believe in personal individual rights. But during a pandemic like this, it just shows that, it's important to think about others. It's about courtesy. It's about respect. It's about aloha. And that's really what is happening here in Hawaii, and that's why there's kind of this tension when visitors come, because they don't understand the culture here, and they don't care to understand because, hey, they're here to have fun. They're here to have, a vacation, get away from their troubles back on the mainland, whatever it may be. They were cooped up, for a year and a half or whatever, and they just want to see beauty. They want to play on the beach, and they want to have a good time. I get it. That's fine. The problem is, when you start to think that you deserve things, or you have this entitlist attitude. We see some of that because maybe people of a certain socioeconomic status start thinking, well, I paid this amount of money to be here, and, they expect a certain level of service. The problem is a lot of, workers didn't go back to whatever hospitality work that they did because of various factors, whether it's one, they didn't feel safe, two, they found a better job because they didn't want to pay for these, work in these low wage jobs without benefits. Three, they just, thought they don't want to work in hospitality anymore. It is a pretty rough industry, especially during the pandemic. So lots of reasons why people aren't going back to work, and that they're short-staffed. A lot of the restaurants and businesses, again, have not been able to get all of their workers back. So there's a lot of issues happening here. And I know, again, tourists don't really think about all of these things when they go visit a place, but I am appealing to anyone out there, if you're listening to this, do basic research, try to, come with an attitude of appreciation, of gratefulness, of aloha again, just that you survived the pandemic and you were able to travel again. I guess just have that perspective. And that's really just all I want to say. Again, it's hard to watch a lot of these posts online and this kind of back and forth between visitors and locals and residents. There's just the resentment is mounting, and prices are gone up. A lot of people moving here because they can afford it, and pushing out locals who cannot. So that's a really bad situation, and really the government here, at least I have found, could be doing more to protect the locals instead of preserving interests in tourism and industries that cater to outsiders. So, yeah, that is my 2 cents. Thanks again for listening. Aloha, everybody. Stay safe.